Hi, I'm Duthie, and this mini talk is about strategic planning. In particular, why the traditional approach to strategic planning doesn't work in values-driven organisations. Now, strategic plans are often among the most impressive and well presented documents that we'll find. And that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because we invest all this time and effort into capturing what our aspirations are for the future, and we want to put that together in a way which looks impressive to those that are going to pick it up. But do you know what? Those same impressive documents are also among the most useless documents that we produce. They sit on shelves and gather dust, might occasionally get pulled out, but often the first time we look at them again is at the end of the 3 year or 5 year cycle when the board decides it's time to refresh the strategic plan. So that's a pretty poor use of resources, isn't it, to develop these documents that really are impotent in terms of the daily decision making of the organisation. We need to do something differently. One of the things that defines values-driven organisations, I think, is that the staff and the internal stakeholders within those organisations really own the values of that organisation. They see themselves as the guardians and the implementers of those values. And yet often in the process of developing a new strategy, those same stakeholders who really live out the values of the organisation are often only engaged in a fairly superficial way, and so their intelligence and passion and motivation is really not drawn on in the way that it could be. Often, when it comes to the end of the season of an existing strategic plan, the whole process of refreshing it is engaged almost like an administrative exercise that we've got to fill in these blanks of what's the vision, mission, values and objectives for this next season, rather than this genuine engaging of the real critical issues that are facing this organisation, both internally and externally. So often we go into these well formulated and laid out processes, and there's this suspicion, or often this actually a firm knowledge that the real interesting strategic conversations are happening in parallel and not actually being part of these processes. You've often heard people say, as I have, that the most succinct and clear definition of strategy is an expression of where we want to go and how we want to get there. Now, my view is that that view of strategy actually doesn't work very well in a values-driven organisation. We need to think about a different way of capturing what strategic thinking looks like. Often those where we want to get to conversations, while they're aspirational and can be inspiring for those that get to formulate those, the metrics that we put around those that relate to size and market and program impact really, if we're honest at the end of the day, amount to some kind of guesses and really some aspirations of where we want to go. But often our strategy is really weak on articulating exactly how we expect to move in those directions. I think a much more helpful way to do strategic conversations in a values-driven organisation is to answer the fundamental questions about who we are, why we exist in the first place, and what our contribution is to making the world a better place. So we need a new way of doing strategy that where the end product, whatever that looks like, inspires people on a daily basis, provides clarity and focus for our work and what we're doing, actually is useful in decision making. So when we come across decisions that we need to make that are of a strategic nature, that we can actually, the work that we've done in our strategic thinking actually becomes the litmus test or the plumb line to make those decisions against. And it actually needs to provide some accountability for leadership within the organisation, things that they need to stay true for. So in my view, we need a new way to do strategy in values-driven organisations.